Who's that? Commander Claw. Who's bad? Commander Claw. Welcome back to another episode of Commander Claw. I'm your host, Commander Claw. No coincidence. I just want to quickly just talk about maybe why your deck is boring. You know, as I like the deck build, I like to make sure I have a game plan and I stick with the game plan and I eliminate too many ways to build the deck. So generally, I start with one way to build a deck and I stick with that game plan and I make sure I overload cards to consistently do that game plan, right? That might be like the first run, first phase of the deck, right? Then once you get past that first phase of the deck, because you goldfish what it's supposed to do, that's when you remove some cards so you don't consistently get your main game plan. You build that second layer, that second phase of the strategy to ultimately create a game winning situation, right? So that's what I mean by a bad game plan where you have too many directions or you don't have a direction or you don't commit to the direction of the game plan. Okay. Next up, we got to talk about weak mana bases. Uh, Personally, I roll with 37 to 38 lands in all my commander decks, right? Um, Weak mana bases, I think, correlates with boring decks because A, you don't get to play your deck if you have too little mana or not enough mana ramp, or maybe you have too much land and it's not a landfall deck or a land strategy deck, right? And you can't play the game. So out of the first two bad game plan and weak mana bases, you got to fix these things so you can actually play the game of Commander, right? That's what I'm ultimately trying to tell y'all to do. Your deck may not be boring just because you have the staple cards. It may not be foundationally operational, right? That's the way I like to look at my decks, operational. Um, Next up, I would say is no consistency. This goes back to the game plan. If you don't consistently have cards that do what the game plan wants to do, how are you playing the game? It's misconstrued. You'll be playing cards that don't make sense. You'll be trying to cast cards that you can't even cast and you're waiting on mana. These are just ultimately things that I think actually make your deck boring and hinder your deck building. And it's no fun to have a boring deck. So I know maybe if you're watching this video, boring might be like in the qualitative category of fun. But for a deck to be operational, that kind of eliminates its boringness. Like if you can't consistently play the deck or consistently do your game plan, not being able to play is boring. Let me know in the comments section below anything that I may have missed on why your deck is boring or things you want to share why your deck could have been boring or was boring or you played against a boring deck. Talk to y'all soon.